Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. Gentlemen, uppy da. Uppy da. What about that? I mean, I'm a great lover of westerns, as you guys know. I think that had the good, the bad, and the ugly all in one half. But 2-2, I think we'd have taken that, putting your hand off for that before the match. But that was as crazy a half of football I think I've ever seen. No doubting the quality we're up against, Sean. I think they showed it in abundance for large parts of that half. We looked down and out at one stage, but there's something about the Celtic team, isn't there?
Mate, there's been a lot going on. Let's be clear here. For the first half hour, Villa had us on toast. We just looked like it could have been anything. Rogers, I don't know his name, first name, Stephen Rogers. I can't remember his first name anyway.
Morgan Rogers. He played like Steve Rogers.
Mate, he just had the absolute freedom in the park, and you can see it from the first minute. Right, there's the ball goes out, and Kalmak is just yards away from him, just lets him turn and just open up the play, and that's how the first two goals happen. And even after that, he's just getting so much freedom. Nobody's getting anywhere near him. And then what happens is Aston Villa have an injury, sub goes off, they start to look, their intensity drops a bit, the crowd gets a bit quieter, and Celtic get a foothold in the game. It's a great break down the left-hand side. Bit of a lucky deflection, but there's nothing lucky about that finish from Ida, who's not literally volleyed it, but essentially volleyed it at head height from a reaction, not even from like he's not anticipating it. He just reacts and hooks it in at head height. Brilliant goal, brilliant finish, and then the build up for the second goal as well. And then even apart from the two goals, like the man Rogers, who had so much space in the first half hour, there's a moment just 5 minutes before half time where Engels drops and comes and actually challenges him and wins it. And there's a couple of challenges. People are getting close to him after that. So it's not even just the fact that we became more of an attacking threat. We became a bit more snappy and got closer to their danger man towards the end of that half as well. So it's really it was a big change after that half hour mark. Because if you think about it, I'm trying to think where the minute is. They hit the post. 25th minute, so that could have been 3-0. Alistair Johnston clears one off the line, 32 minutes.
What a clearance that was! Yeah.
Could have comfortably been 4 down, and then we turn it round, actually get back into the game. I think, to be fair, before that as well, I think Villa were buying a lot of cheap free kicks too. There's a lot of that going on. Every time there's physical, like the one where Digne just dives when Trusty gets close to him. There's another one where the guy, I don't know the boy's name, just dives when Engels gets close to him. There's a lot of that. The goalkeeper goes down just because Taylor's somewhere near him and the referee's buying it. So that's working against us. So to say that we'll, to come in at halftime 2 each when all this is working against us, like, there's a lot happening. There's been a lot happening.
There's a lot. I mean, Kev, I think, we both agree with Sean's assessment. I mean, I think we saw Villa's quality. I mean, it seemed that, after the opening 5 minutes, we're 2 goals down. Albeit one's a deflection, but like, we don't do enough to prevent the chance from happening. You're thinking this is going to be a long night. I mean, I was ready for, leaving hosting duties to one of you two at that point. But the one thing I do want to say is, as the half wore on, we created a couple of openings, and you started to think, actually, that there are openings at the back and against this Villa team. I mean, Hatate is one where, unfortunately, he is more of a pass back than a shot. There's a couple of opportunities where we've got the ball in. Ida, I think, has done pretty well, albeit he's looked a wee bit isolated at times. I think we need to get up there and support him. But you saw, as we grew into the game, we do get back into it. When we up our game, we can show that we belong in this competition, don't we?
Absolutely, and I think we've shown it time and time again in various games this season, and even in the last couple of years. We've had our moments in games where we've looked really good. You go back to Kyogo's goal against Atletico Madrid last season. That's just a wonder goal. Great passing teamwork move, and we're a team that's got those moments in us. And the second goal today was kind of, it's that this season's version of that goal. It was an excellent goal. But I think it was a really weird first half, because it was a fantastic watch, And I know I shouldn't say this, but if you were a neutral watching that game, you would just be totally engrossed in it and thinking it
Oh
was
yeah.
an amazing game of football. From a Celtic fan perspective, after 5 minutes of the game, you're absolutely fearing the worst. But we hadn't really done much wrong, and we were 2-0 down, and we were staring down the barrel of an embarrassing scoreline, like another Dortmund-esque scoreline. Even through the points that Sean was making earlier on there, they could have been 4-0 up quite easily because
Yes.
Villa's a good team. They break so quickly. Their passing play is so precise, and they're able to cut teams open. They do it week in, week out in the Premiership in England. They're doing it in Europe, and they're doing it against us tonight. They had the chances. They could have been 4-0 up. But we weren't playing like a side that deserved to be 4-0 down. I think we were fighting and we were trying to get our foothold back in the game, which is very difficult to do after that start. So I think the team's shown amazing character, just to actually stick with what they wanted to do. There were moments when Ida did look really isolated up front. There's a few times Hatate's played some decent balls over the top to him. It's a good pass. Ida's got an end of it, but there's no one there to support him, and he's hit the byline and he's having to, make them feed off scraps basically. And then, as I say, we slowly just get into the game a little bit more. Matty Cash goes off, and I think that disrupts Villa big time because they've got to move the boy Bogard to right back, and I don't think that's his position. He seems to be more of a centre back from what I've seen, and it's only his 5th game for them, so he's really inexperienced. So as much as I derided him before the game, it's a real chance for Yang if he can get the ball, just run at him and see what he's actually capable of doing as a fullback. But after Cash goes off, we really grow into the game. They've lost a big player. We've got confidence. It's 2 quick fire goals from us. And Ida's fantastic for them both. I mean, that first one, he's almost got no right to get it with his foot. It's that high. It's great improvisation to do it. And then the second goal, it's all about Engels' little back heel pass. It takes out 2 or 3 defenders. Hatate's quick on it as well. Great little ball across. And we're a side that has that in us. So we definitely belong at this level. It looked maybe in the first 5 minutes that it was going to be just one of those nights again that we've seen in Europe over the years, but we've fought back so well. And you can't not be proud of that first 45 minutes from us.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. I think the resilience showing, the mentality showing, something maybe we've been critical of is that when we have gone behind in games this season, we haven't shown that ability to come back from it. So I think that was great. I do want to bring in some comments and then we'll start to look at what we need to do in the second half, because that's going to be a long 45 minutes coming up, right? It really is. So let's look at some of the comments coming in. So Paddy Lavery, I'll raise Jim Orty 6 sofas. I think that comment came in prior to his getting the goals in that second half, but that was the way I was feeling as well, Paddy, to be fair. I think, I was nearly digging a hole behind my sofa to get away from that at certain points. Paul McLean comes in. I think he's referring to Ida here. Always said he was a legend. Yeah, I think they may have changed a few people's opinions tonight. Barry O'Sullivan, McGinn has changed this game. Yeah, well, maybe. Transfer window's not done yet, Barry. And then Barry comes in again. He'd have 50 million talking about the transfer fee. I think, see if we can see this on a consistent basis. He'll go some way to proving his doubters wrong and actually repaying some of that fee. I mean, this, as a striker, this is all you want him to do, Sean, right? Is to get into the position and put the ball in the back of the net. I think he's done okay tonight. He's led the line well. I think he needs a wee bit more support up there at times, but he's shown good pace, good strength, and ultimately, on the 2 occasions where it's counted, he's found himself in the right position tonight.
Mate, that's amount of 3 Champions League goals. So many players go through their career not doing that. Celtic have never had a player score more than 3 in the Champions League, as far as I know. Someone might correct me on that. Maybe Larson got 4 at one point and I missed it. Yeah, that's you can't really argue with that kind of output. And obviously, at the start of the game, he looked very isolated. He was making these runs, and he was just two defenders against him, and he was hitting the channels. So it wasn't looking like it was going to be a very fruitful night for him. But I would actually credit the midfield with the goal. Obviously, is 2 great finishes, sensational finishes, but that build up for the second goal was world class.
Phenomenal.
And even watching back the first goal there, the ball around the corner from Hatate and the run from Greg Taylor, both excellent pieces of quality. And this is the kind of quality you need to show if you want to compete at this level. And we have shown it in spells. We were the major concern is what we do with Morgan Rogers. And I'm hoping that I wonder if Villa, if it was a mental thing or if they had some fatigue in the legs, because some of the pre-match stuff I was listening to on the BBC and stuff was saying that Villa looked a bit leggy against West Ham at the weekend. So I'm wondering if that's going on, and if that is the case, then we have an opportunity then to actually to go for this to try and get a win here. I'll just point out, if we're currently sitting 20th in the table, and if things hold as they are, which they won't, but say everything holds as it is, our potential opponents in the next round would be PSV Eindhoven or Aston Villa. So we've got an opportunity here to really kind of show what we're made of, set down a marker. And I was really pessimistic before the game, and now we're showing what we can do in this stage. I'm actually quite optimistic. I still think it's more likely we lose, but we've shown it and it's there. So maybe the boys can do it.
Absolutely. Kev, I mean, as we said, big 45 minutes coming up. Sean's feeling more optimistic. I'm feeling pretty optimistic, but trying to keep ourselves grounded. What are you expecting to see in the second half, and what do we need to do to get a result here? I mean, what do we need to do to avoid what happened in that opening 5 minutes in particular, but that kind of opening 30 minutes in the first half happening again in the second period?
Right. I don't know is a very, very short answer to that question, because that opening 5 minutes was a freak 5 minutes in the game, in a way, because we normally don't lose goals. We normally don't lose 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. That was freak, but the way that Villa play, I don't think they're going to change that style. And the front four that they've got, so I'm going to have to look at the names now. Sorry, it's Rodgers, Watkins. There's the one I'm forgetting, which is Ramsey and Bailey. They've all got a lot of pace and good movement about them. They've caused us a lot of problems. So AJ's had a tough game up against Rodgers and on the right-hand side. What we need to be is just defensively switched on. I think Sean mentioned it actually before the game. It's that the focus and concentration that we had against Atalanta. That's what the back line needs to have going into the second half. Because otherwise, I think from midfield going forward, as that half went on, we really grew into it. And I'm not going to say we really dominated it, but we were beginning to stamp our authority in the game. We've just come from 2-0 down away from home to make it 2-2. We've got all the momentum behind us going into that second half. So there is a little bit of course, what do we do to stop Villa? But what do we do to win that game now? So we've got to take that momentum into the second half. Ida's on fire. He's going to look to get a hat-trick. I think Kuhn's actually been decent whenever he's had the ball, but we need to get him more involved. Engels and Hatate, I think, have both been very good offensively going forward. So it's probably a little bit of let's try and focus a bit more on our attacking strengths, just be a bit more switched on defensively, keep the shape, keep the discipline. And Villa are a team that do give up chances. They've done it in the first half. There was a couple of poor slack passes. I think one might have been Bogardinia, definitely, with a slack pass, the one when Hatate got through. We will get chances in the second half. So it's keep the focus, keep the concentration. And who knows what we'll be discussing come 90 minutes.
Absolutely. I think, one honourable mention, I think Celtic follower says it. I love the fact you could hear the Celtic fans loud and clear coming through towards the end of that second half. That was fantastic. I mean, they were absolutely out singing the Villa fans, which was great to see. Sean, we're getting close to kick-off again. Just a couple of points. I mean, one on Ademida, 2 goals scored. We spoke about him hopefully having a desire to go and prove himself. He's shut a few people up tonight, hasn't he? Maybe down in some of the detractors that questioned his ability to come up here and do a job.
Well, what this shows is that what he doesn't lack is quality, but what he does lack is consistency. And we hopefully this gives him the confidence to start being more consistent. I do wonder though, if it's to do with the fact that he's not facing a low block. I wonder if that's part of it. But yeah, like he's now answered any questions about his quality, and it's going to be, you know, going forward about his consistency and whether he can do it against those teams that do pack the box.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Kev, just another player to single out. We spoke about, you know, should we rest a player like Alistair Johnson because of being on a yellow card? Kind of glad we didn't.
Aye, that clearance off the line justifies his inclusion in the team, and you know that's what you're going to get for Johnson. He'll go through a brick wall for you, and it was great qualities, just to awareness of the situation really, and get back and clear that. So yeah, good call to play him, and let's just hope he doesn't pick up that yellow in the second half, and he's fully fit or fully available rather for the playoff games.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to do something unusual here. I'm going to ask for your second half predictions, guys. So Kev, I'm going to start with you. How do you see this one finishing? 45 minutes. Come on, can we do it?
We can do it. I'm a lot more confident now going into the second half. We can do it, but I think a draw is the most likely outcome from this one.
Absolutely. And Sean?
I'll go with 3-3. I'll be optimistic.
3-3. I'll take that. I'll go with the 3-3 again. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you everyone that tuned in for half time. We'll see you at full time. Hopefully the boys can do the business. Thank you very much for joining Celtic State of Mind. Thank you, Kevin McCluskey. Thank you, Sean Conley. We'll see you guys at full time. Morning Hoops.
Morning Hoops.
Cheers, Chris.